Have you ever wondered why you just can't stop thinking about someone, even though they're no longer in your life? Why their name echoes in your mind, their memory lingers, and no matter how much time passes, they just won't go away. You're not alone. But this isn't just about love, or loss, or longing. It's about what the human mind does when it can't make peace with something unfinished. In this video, we're going deep, calmly, carefully, to explore why someone is always on your mind, and what that actually reveals about you. There are few things more frustrating than a mind that won't let go. You're going about your day, working, driving, making tea, and then suddenly, there they are again. The person, that one person, a memory, a moment, a face, an unfinished sentence. It returns, quietly, like a familiar echo, and you wonder, why are they still on my mind? Why can't I stop thinking about them? They're not around. You haven't spoken in weeks, maybe months. Maybe it ended badly. Maybe it never even began. But somehow, your mind keeps going back, replaying conversations, reimagining possibilities, reanalyzing the smallest details. And the harder you try to not think about them, the stronger the thought seems to become. This is not random. It's not just emotion. It's your mind, your whole inner world, trying to resolve something. Let me explain. The human mind has a deep need for closure. It wants to make sense of things. And when something feels unfinished, when a story doesn't end the way we thought it would, the mind keeps circling it like a detective at a cold case. This is actually backed by psychology. There's something called the Zeigarnik Effect, a term named after psychologist Bloomer Zeigarnik. What she discovered is simple. We tend to remember unfinished tasks more than completed ones. Your brain is wired to hold on to anything that doesn't feel done, and relationships, especially the confusing, painful, or short-lived ones, often end with no real ending at all. No clarity, no explanation, just silence, or chaos, or both. So the mind keeps them alive, not because it wants to suffer, but because it's trying to find an answer. It's searching for meaning. What happened? Why did it matter? What does it say about me? But here's where it gets even more interesting. Sometimes, we think about someone not because of who they are, but because of what they represent. They become a symbol in our story, a symbol of a time, a feeling, a version of ourselves we miss. You don't just miss them, you miss you, around them. Maybe when you were with them, you felt more alive, more open, more connected, or more hopeful. They touched something in you that was either asleep or long forgotten. They reminded you of something real. So now, every time your mind returns to them, what it's really doing is trying to return to that feeling, that moment, that part of you that still wants to exist, but no longer knows how to come back without them. You see, our thoughts aren't always literal. They're layered. They speak in symbols, in feelings, in memories. And this person has become the face of something deeper inside you. Now, let's talk about something else. Unfinished emotions. A lot of us carry emotions we never fully felt. Maybe we pushed them down. Maybe we were too busy. Or maybe it was just too painful at the time. And then someone comes along and cracks the surface. They wake something up in us. It could be joy. It could be hope. It could be pain. But suddenly, the emotions start flowing. And we don't always know what to do with them. When they leave, it feels like part of us is left wide open, exposed. That emotional energy doesn't just go away. It lingers, it loops, it keeps searching for an outlet, and often, it returns in the form of obsessive thoughts. Your mind keeps replaying the person, not because you want them back, but because your emotional body still hasn't processed what happened. It's like a wound that's trying to heal. But every time you poke it, it opens again. So, what do we do? First, we have to realize that thinking about someone doesn't always mean you want them back, or that they were right for you, or that it was something magical. Sometimes it means you didn't get what you needed, and your inner world is still trying to find a way to understand why. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. Now here's a difficult truth. Some people come into our lives not to stay, but to reveal. They reveal wounds we forgot we had. They reveal parts of ourselves we'd buried. They show us the kind of love we didn't think we deserved. And when they leave, whether it was their choice, yours, or life's, the experience doesn't always leave with them. Because what you're left with isn't just memories. You're left with a shift, a transformation, a new awareness. And that takes time to settle. So even if you don't want to think about them, your psyche is still integrating what they brought to the surface. Sometimes, it's not love that keeps someone in your thoughts. It's confusion, or guilt, or resentment, or the longing for a version of you that only existed in their presence. That's what makes this so complicated, because the thought doesn't always point to them. It points to you, your needs, your fears, your story. Psychologist Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This means that as long as we don't understand what's really happening inside us, we'll keep repeating patterns and thinking it's all just meant to be. But it's not fate. It's something inside of us that wants to be seen. So instead of asking, "Why can't I stop thinking about them?" try asking, "What part of me feels unfinished? What did I not get to say? What did I lose when they left? What did they wake up in me that I still don't understand?" Those questions go deeper, and they'll lead you closer to the real answer. So what now? Do you just wait for the thoughts to stop? No. But you also don't force them to stop. That rarely works. In fact, trying to suppress a thought often makes it louder. Instead, listen to it, gently, without judgment. Try writing about it, speaking about it, feeling it, not just in your mind, but in your body. Let the feeling pass through, like a wave. It will rise, it will fall, and it will pass, if you allow it. You don't have to fix it in one day. You just have to be honest about what's really going on underneath. And over time, something starts to shift. Eventually, the thoughts become quieter, not because the person changed, not because the past disappeared, but because you're no longer resisting the truth inside of you. You've started to understand it, to make peace with it, to let it move. And that's when healing happens. Not with force, not with forgetting, but with awareness. So if someone is always on your mind, and once you finally look at what that mirror is showing you, not just about them, but about yourself, the thoughts begin to release you. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll feel a lightness, not because they vanished, but because you no longer need them to understand who you are. That's the power of self-awareness. That's the beginning of freedom. So if you're still thinking about them, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means something inside you wants to be seen, heard, and healed. The moment you stop running from the thought and start understanding the feeling, that's when you begin to reclaim your peace. And slowly, without force, their presence in your mind begins to fade. Not because they disappeared, but because you finally came home to yourself. If this resonated with you, subscribe to Secrets Uncovered for more deep dives like this into the hidden patterns of the mind, the soul, and the story behind what we feel.